70 years for his work during atomic bomb trials to be recognised.
John Ward was one of thousands of veterans sent to the South Pacific in the 1950s, where they were used and exposed to dangerous radiation.
His recognition finally came last year when the government sent him a medal in the post, but it felt like a bit of an afterthought. So today his daughter put on a ceremony that befits a hero. Jonathan Brown reports.
Almost 7 decades of waiting for royal recognition finally at an end. John Ward applauded by fellow veterans and loved ones, enjoying his moment with the King's representative for Derbyshire.
Thank you for everything you've done.
He was one of more than 20,000 British service personnel sent to the South Pacific to witness Cold War weapons tests in the 1950s and 60s. But only last year did any of them receive military medals for doing so, though John's hopes of an invitation to the palace to get his went undelivered.
It was in a jiffy bag. I thought, oh, what's this? And I opened it, there was my medal. I thought, fancy being presented with a medal by a postman, you know. And I think that's wrong. I think we've been totally ignored. I was very surprised when someone said, we may be recognised. I'm thinking, really? Well, half of them was dead.
And look at the huge fireball.
It's believed many of those who served suffered mentally and physically, while many died young after being exposed to radiation from which they were given very little protection.
You got your back to it, you got your hands over your eyes, and you could see the bones in your hand.
John was far from alone in getting his silverware by post. The government says it's a long-established process for commemorative medals. But relatives, including his daughter Denise, felt it took the shine off their achievements, so she organised a special ceremony in Chesterfield in a bid to give them royal approval.
At the end of the day, you know, they were doing the country a big service and they went through so much over there. My main intention for today was for Dad to go home a happy bunny, and I think I've done it.
We're not the King or the Queen, but we are their representative and we are presenting these medals on His Majesty's behalf. So I hope that means something.
Among those having a medal pinned proudly to their lapel was Shirley. Her husband Michael, like many other nuclear test veterans, died before the government agreed to hand them out 2 years ago.
Brings tears to my eyes to think at last we've got something, a little bit.
What do you think he'd think of today?
Obviously he'd say about blooming time.
Is this worth the wait today?
Yes.
So while their honours may have been delayed by decades of inaction, people here say joining forces in this way was the least that could be done for service personnel who so proudly served their country. Jonathan Brown, ITV News, Chesterfield.
Lovely that John finally got the recognition he deserved.
Yes, much deserved recognition there. Now then, shall we have a look at the weather forecast? Because it's